So we've got this interesting surge in Ethereum whale activity,
Yeah.
right? Mega whales have been accumulating a ton of ETH, like $300 million worth from just one address trading over the counter at Galaxy Digital.
That's wild. And these whales, they're instrumental, right?
Exactly.
One address now holds over 79,000 ETH, something like $282.5 million in value, which really shows just how deep these positions can go.
Right. And it's not just that single whale. There's been this overall trend where more and more addresses, especially those holding over 10,000 ETH, are coming online.
Yeah, definitely.
According to Glassnode, more than 200 new mega whale addresses have been added since the beginning of July.
And speaking of trends, the ETF side of things is pretty intriguing too.
Yeah.
BlackRock's iShares Ethereum Trust ETF saw $1.7 billion in inflows over just the past 10 consecutive trading days.
Absolutely. And that, in a way, kind of parallels the on-chain data we're seeing. ETF ETH holdings have shot up by over 40% in the last month, based on Dune Analytics insights. It shows how institutional data is aligning with on-chain whale movements.
Right? And it's like the market's starting to paint a more bullish picture from these numbers. But I do wonder, can we truly predict a bullish trend from whale activity alone?
Well,
There's some skepticism because prices did dip earlier on, right below $3,400, before bouncing back to around $3,560.
yeah, that's the price dynamic we're observing. Ether cooled off during the weekend dip, but then we saw a recovery. It's almost like these mega whales are using the dip as a buying opportunity. They seem to be
That's the
continuously loading
impression.
up as the price adjusts.
And then there's this interesting commentary from industry analysts. Monika Mlodzianowska from CoinW noted that while the initial labor market's cooling trend might have spooked some investors, the possibility of monetary easing could soon work as a bullish tailwind for crypto liquidity.
Right, exactly.
It's like the macro financial environment is shifting, making the crypto space potentially more attractive.
But here's something that's a bit debatable. Some folks might argue that just because ETF inflows and whale accumulations are high, it doesn't necessarily mean a sustained
Yeah, I get
bull
that.
run. There's always the counterpoint that short-term price recovery can be mostly technical adjustments rather than a long-term trend.
True. And even major names like Eric Trump have been tweeting to buy the dip. But we have to take that with a grain of salt. Every influential voice adds to the noise. Still, when CNBC calls Ethereum Wall Street's invisible backbone, it lends another layer of institutional credibility, wouldn't you say?
For sure. When major financial institutions start to treat ETH like a core asset, the market sentiment does get a boost. It's like the ecosystem is maturing, even if there are always risks involved. It can't be all rosy
Absolutely.
either.
And beyond just the price action, it's the network dynamics that are fascinating. The on-chain data shows that these whales are not just holding, they're actively moving, buying through the dips, which indicates a sort of confidence.
Yeah, totally.
The strategic accumulation suggests they might be bracing for future highs.
It's like, imagine you're shopping for a rare collectible on sale. These whales are snatching up ETH when the prices are lower, setting themselves up for potential gains
That's
later.
a neat analogy.
And it does explain the motivation behind such massive over-the-counter trades.
Exactly. And then there's that interplay between the market's volatility and the long-term institutional moves. While the short-term dip below $3,400 might look concerning, the recovery to around $3,560 shows resilience.
Right on.
And with both institutional inflows and mega whale movements on the rise, it paints a picture of an asset that's still very active and dynamic.
But still, I have to challenge one part here. Sometimes we see these patterns before a big correction too. Do you think there's a risk of overconfidence here in the face of potential market shifts?
That's a valid point.
Market sentiment can, and often does, shift rapidly, especially in crypto.
Yeah, it's like a double-edged sword. High accumulation can signal strong belief, but it also means the market becomes prone to dramatic reversals if, say, liquidity constraints hit or if macroeconomic factors turn sour. The crypto market's volatility is ever present.
Exactly. And that feeds into the narrative of Ethereum, not just as a crypto asset, but as a reflection of broader financial market dynamics.
Yep, indeed.
Especially when ETFs and institutional players are involved, it becomes so much more than just digital currency trading.
And it's interesting how these dynamics mirror what happened in past cycles. Remember how, during previous bull runs, heavy whale activity often preceded or aligned with market recoveries? Yeah. Though history doesn't repeat exactly, it definitely rhymes in crypto.
Right. And the notion that whale activity provides a kind of underlying support is appealing. But it also means that if whales decide to unload, you could see rapid downturns.
That's a risk not to take lightly.
Between sustained accumulation and potential market manipulation.
All of this just makes Ethereum one of the most talked about assets right now. It's a convergence of on-chain analytics, ETF inflows, and notable market commentaries. Each piece adds layers to its story and market behavior.
So, wrapping this up, while the current data shows strong accumulation and robust ETF inflows, the market remains in a state of flux where institutional moves and mega whales are both a blessing and a potential challenge.
Right on?
It's a dynamic landscape that's deeply intriguing for both retail and big players.
Absolutely. And watching these movements in real time, with insights from on-chain analytics and market commentary, makes it clear that Ethereum is right in the epicenter of a lot of significant financial shifts.
Indeed.
A fascinating time to be following crypto.